Hey everybody. Okay, all right. Let's get right to it. Nah, this is my shit. Uh-huh. Been singing this all day for the last couple of days.
Let me tell you about it.
Let me tell you about it.
I wanna tell you
About it. Uh-huh. Let's go.
Let me tell you.
I've been gone. Gone so long. Swag, man.
Just wanna sing.
Sing my song. I know. You've been here. You've
And
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
things.
things.
Found me. That's the style. Found me. I know. I heard.
I've heard it all to me.
Uh-huh.
This is
What
what
I'm
I
gonna
want to
do.
do. Yeah.
James Brown, that swag, that funk. Okay. Oh, where do I start with D'Angelo, man? This is a huge loss. It really is. Y'all have to pardon me. D'Angelo passed away yesterday. Yesterday was actually a beautiful day here in Toronto. And I didn't quite have the time to address this. Frankly, partly because it was also a great day. It was like just a great opportunity to go outside and exercise and do a bunch of things. So I decided to let people make their RP videos and all that, of course, and try to cash in. I know that's cynical, but that's how it is. A lot of people love to talk, but don't really want to provide any insight. So let's get into what made D'Angelo special. No, actually, you know what? Let me start with, I'll get to that. But I'll tell you the first song by D'Angelo I ever heard. It could have been Devil's Pie. It might have actually been the first one, which is, that song is fucking incredible. It actually might have been the first one because, as I told you, 97, 98 was when I really started to listen to music pretty heavily, like hip hop and stuff like that. So I would have missed Brown Sugar. I mean, Brown Sugar came out in 96, I believe. Let's check. 95. Yeah, this is before me, right? But I was right on time for VOODOO, and I believe it was Devil's Pie. If it wasn't Devil's Pie, it was Brown Sugar, the song, or Cruisin' the song. One of those three. But I would say that this is probably my favorite D'Angelo song. If I was to say a definitive, let's make a statement, even though there's a lot of D'Angelo songs I love, but it would be Devil's Pie. Shout out to DJ Premier. I mean, he put his foot in this. This shit was incredible back then. We heard this and we were like, yo, I think it was in Belly even. This was great. This is a phenomenal song. If you haven't heard Devil's Pie, you gotta hear Devil's Pie. So, what made D'Angelo special? D'Angelo to me is, that trifecta, I would argue, of neo soul. To me, he's probably the best male neo soul artist we ever got. Right? I can't really think of anybody that would be in his place. And so that trifecta of him, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott was some crazy shit when you think about it. And Jill kind of came really like at the tail end, I would say. What's so wild is actually, apparently, I don't know if it was Kedar. Is it Kedar Entertainment? Kedar Brown? Or is it Kedar Massenburg? Is this the guy that discovered both D'Angelo and Erykah Badu? Which is wild. Right. So single-handedly, I think he was also involved with D'Angelo. And he even coined the term. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Some people are just talented. They come in single-handedly. Again, it's not just the artists. It's the people behind the business. The business people. Where are the smart business people? Where are the powerful business people with great ideas that, again, you come in, make money. Great. Make your money. But give something to the audience, to the public. We don't have these individuals anymore, unfortunately. So anyway, getting back to D'Angelo. what I think made D'Angelo so dope to me was that D'Angelo he did what you're supposed to do as an artist. It's very clear when you listen to him, especially when you start to get to VOODOO. He's in the lineage of Sly and the Family Stone. You guys really should listen to Sly and the Family Stone. Even that style, that style that D'Angelo has is very Sly. I've always said that my favorite for me in time, this is probably my favorite Sly and the Family Stone song. Is it this one? No, it's Time. Not In Time. Although this song is cool too, but Time. There's a certain, this one. Listen to this beat. That funk. This is pure music, man. So you listen to that and then go from there to one more, which is also one of my absolute favorite D'Angelo records. You see the it's that funk, man. This is that stinky, it's that black music, man. Real shit. Black American, really. I give him credit, right? This is when people talk that gumbo, that feel. See how I say we, and I'm gonna say the Black Americans. Let me be a tether for a second. See how they put that foot in the beat? You can't really. This is not some shit that you can just sort of like program, whatever. You have to really feel the music. It's the swing. And again, the swing is what makes particularly funk, black music around funk, so powerful, right? It's that slightly off kilter, but, retreat, but right back at you, right? Type of vibe. Again, this is Sly. So, D'Angelo is in a tradition of these artists, right? And again, I've said this before, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. A great artist don't actually reinvent the wheel. That's not really the point. Every now and then you'll get someone like a James Brown that just basically reinvents the wheel with the production, with the drum, the way that the timing of the drum on the one. Okay, every now and then you'll get someone like that. But in general, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to understand the wheel and then make an addition to it and continue in a lineage. That's when the music is great. So you have Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown, kind of then leads to Michael Jackson, phenomenal artist. Again, Michael Jackson, direct descendant of all that funk and soul. Prince, direct descendant of all that funk and soul. And then the next evolution, you could argue, in that vein almost. I mean, there's others. You could say even the R&B groups and things like that. This is true. But the next evolution in terms of bringing that back to that Sly and the Family Stone type of vibe is D'Angelo. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. Just be very good at it. Know your lineage. Understand what's dope. And then improve on it. And make it your own thing. And this is exactly what D'Angelo did. And this is why we love D'Angelo. Now, the other thing is that D'Angelo's a handsome motherfucker. Like, that's another side of this thing. Because it's very rare, and I think I've said this before, when someone is visually appealing and also, like, intellectually appealing and emotionally appealing, you have a star. Like a real bona fide star. Right? Because, unfortunately, a lot of people who are good looking, and I'm being a little pessimistic when I say this, because it's not, again, the case with everyone. But a fair amount of people, especially today, in our social media vanity-driven world, the world has always been vain, but the world seems extra vain now. A lot of people coast on their looks. They have the looks, and that's it. That's literally where it ends. So, in fact, if anything, their actual personalities are way uglier than their exterior. But when you have someone like a D'Angelo or an Aaliyah who like visually is very pleasing to look at, but then they have this musical depth or personality depth that is even arguably more beautiful than their exterior, then you're like, holy shit, that's some mind-blowing stuff. And that was D'Angelo. Now, I made this poll to see what y'all consider to be your favorite D'Angelo album. And no surprise to me, VOODOO was number one at 62%. And then Brown Sugar. And then at option 3, this is the D'Angelo Black Vanguard Black Messiah album, which is at 7%. And again, I'm not surprised by this. And I actually would put this at 0. With all due respect, I almost think, to me, D'Angelo only really had 2 albums. That third album, with all due respect, I know there's some people who like it, maybe, but that third album to me was weak as hell. Very bad. In fact, like completely unlistenable. However, it's, how can I say this? It's a jam session type of vibe. So it's like just being in the room while him and his boys are riffing on stuff. And if you like that kind of stuff, fair enough. But to me, those songs, there was no real care. What should have happened is, like that's demo shit. What should have happened is after they riff, they go back, D'Angelo and his people go back and go, oh yeah, okay, we riffed. This part of the song works, this part doesn't work. You know, and do it for all the tracks and then redo it, right? And put that effort into it like he did with VOODOO. And then maybe it would have been a good album. But it's felt very, respectfully, a little lazy. But again, if you just like artists like having a jam session, you know, getting a band together and jamming, okay, fair enough, you might like it. But there's no way you're going to tell me that is on the same quality level of VOODOO and Brown Sugar. I just don't believe you. Anyway, but if you like it, you like it. What can I say? So, VOODOO, which is the second album, was the leading winner. Not surprising. I do think that VOODOO is quite a bit better than Brown Sugar, the original. And I would argue that most of us felt that in real time, and especially now. We can tell, right? Let me get to your comments, and then I'm going to go through tracks, because some of you might not know a whole lot about D'Angelo's music, or what, like, his best stuff, and I'll try to go and cover it. Let's see here. Lady Remix. GBC, my man. Lady Remix with AZ and Premiere, for sure. Kung, 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 kung. Kung, kung, kung. Ah. See, that was the other thing. D'Angelo was dope because he was a hip-hop dude, but he was doing something else, too. He was doing something unique. And, again, you know, the artists that really blow people's mind, in my opinion, are the people that are really able to merge the masculine and feminine. Like D'Angelo, like you looked at D'Angelo and you're like, that's a man's man. Look at him, man. He's like, he looks like a fucking god and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's handsome. He's in shape. He doesn't look lame. You know what I'm saying? And he's even the way he sings. It's not just the look. More importantly, it's the way he sings. He sings with that. It's fun. It's laid back. It's not even so aggressive, but there's still that aggression there that's necessary. Like, again, for us to take you seriously, especially as a man. This is where, respectfully to Maxwell, it's hard to listen to Maxwell. Not that Maxwell is not talented, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Maxwell, but you can see the difference, right? Like, women love Maxwell, or black women listen to Maxwell, and that's perfectly fine. I ain't got no problem with that. But brothers listen to D'Angelo, and women listen to D'Angelo. Does that make sense? D'Angelo has a wider audience because he's just dope. He appeals to both the ladies, very much so, and also the fellas, because we can hear ourselves in him, right? I don't really hear myself in Maxwell like that. Again, I might play Maxwell if I'm trying to smash, to put it so bluntly and right, and so crudely. But ultimately, anyway, I haven't listened to much Maxwell, but the stuff I've heard, I can't really get behind. But I can get behind D'Angelo very easily. No, I'm sorry. Look, at the end of the day, the euphemisms, it's all funny to me, okay? It's only a tiny bit childish, but ultimately, if it's done well, I'll laugh. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny. So, again, Lady remix. These are all great. So, if Owen Smith, what up? So far to go. Oh, yeah. Dilla. Dun, dun. Also, again, VOODOO. Dilla. A lot of Dilla influences in there. Right? So, this is what we're talking about people that really, they really know their shit. Okay? It's the people that know all the stuff before them. They know the good shit. They take their influences and then they do something with it. They add on. It's not just, oh, these are my influences, and and then they stuck there. No. It would be boring if he just basically redid Sly, but he didn't just redo Sly. It's like Sly in the hip hop world. What does that sound like? Right? That's what we're talking about. That what does, and not just, again, it's not like he did Sly mixed with Marley Marl. He could have, that's fine. But he went and thought, I like Dilla. I like that vibe, that bounce. Dilla's got this thing, right? Dilla's one of the great hip-hop producers ever. He's got this sort of like slightly off-kilter, loungy, but still aggressive vibe. I want to work with that. You know what I'm saying? That's creativity, man. I haven't listened that much to him, but I blasted Devil's Pie 1,000%, man. So smooth. Oh, I love that. Smooth off Brown Sugar, for sure. I listened to that like 5 times before asking a shorty out. It worked. You see, this is what we're talking about. IBR 7000. Great comment. This is what we're talking about. The music that gives us that confidence to do something great. Okay? To do something cool. Talk to a woman. Whatever. Like, good things, right? That's why music is important. Definitely VOODOO, of course. Send it up, send it through. Okay. The Root and Milano. And The Root is fantastic. Fantastic song. Let's see. Really Love and Devil's Pie. Right, Devil's Pie is how a lot of people found out about D'Angelo. I would argue, again, the newer generation, because the older generation, he already made a huge splash with that Brown Sugar album. I mean, people were playing that out of that, right? In the house playing D'Angelo, how's it feel? The Canadian Jew goat, Drizzy. Devil's Pie, Brown Sugar, VOODOO. You honestly never listened to Black Messiah. It was trash. Don't worry about it. Oh, yeah. One more again. Yep. That's, yeah. Top 3 for me. Easy. Top 3. VOODOO. Yep. One more. Yeah. That shit. Left and Right. Left and Right is dope, too. Method Man and Redman, I think we're on that. That was a good song. Devil's Pie, The Root. Tiger Lord, I'm going to put you on at the end. Hopefully this will help you. Lady. Yeah, Lady. You're my lady. I don't sing, but you know. Dun, dun. Okay, so let's start with Brown Sugar. I think this is the debut album. I heard this. I did get the CD eventually, but I think I heard this in like maybe the mid 2000s. You know, again, house parties. This is the kind of thing when I went to college, I came back to Canada, and you know, we have house parties, black and brown students type of thing. Well, mostly actually black students, like the African, Caribbean. And we had the house parties. Of course, we're throwing this on. Of course, we're throwing on Brown Sugar, right? Like that was a staple, right? Considering again now, this is like 2003, 2002, 2003 when we're having these parties, and this album came out in 95 to show you already that that music had staying power. Right, Kedar Massenburg, which is wild. Kedar was D'Angelo's manager, put on Erykah Badu. I mean, that's wild, man. Shout out to Kedar. Now, let me see if I can look at the track list here and show you. I mean, again, I think this is a great album. Brown Sugar, Smooth and Cruisin' are probably my favorite. Oh, I like Lady, of course. Lady is dope. But the remix in particular that Primo did. But Brown Sugar, Cruisin', excellent songs, right? But I really would say you should listen to this album in full. Me and Those Dreamin' Eyes of Mine are dope. I love the JD remix. Again, a lot of the people, guys, please understand what I'm trying to tell you. When you have a formula that works, stick with that shit and evolve the formula. How hard is this to understand? Did you see D'Angelo working with Dr. Dre, with all due respect? No, like it's stupid. Look at the people he worked with initially on his first album. JD, aka J Dilla. Primo, right, with the remix. Ali Shaheed, Tribe, and he just was like, when it came down to doing VOODOO, he went with the same people, the same vibe again, except that they had evolved too. When something is broke, don't fix it. I don't understand this idea of, you come out, and again, this is why I love Rocky, but it's like you come out the gate with Clamps Casino, who's incredible, right? The next album, your debut album, has got to be mostly Clams with Beautiful Lou and the people that made you hot. Like, why are you working with people we don't care about? This is the number one thing that the new school that bothers me. And this is why people fall off so fast. It's like you have a formula. It's almost like they arrived at it by chance, and maybe that's why they're not so good, and maybe that's why they don't have that staying power. To have staying power, you need consistency, right? Do whatever works. Do that shit, and just evolve it and make it better. It's really simple. Anyway, so we have here Brown Sugar. Me and Those Dreamin' Eyes, right. For those of y'all who might not know this, but there is a remix with Dilla. The Dilla remix is fire. It might probably be my favorite version, although I do like the original as well. This is the original, right?
Yo, she look good, man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, like, that's cool. Again, I like that, but this is more my speed. Right? James Brown, I think. Let's go. Let's go. So again, that's Sly. But Sly never made no song like Me and Those Dreamin' Eyes of Mine, JD remix. But D'Angelo did. This is again where I'm talking about it's important to understand your influences and really have influences, right? Because then once you really understand the landscape, you can see, oh, this is what works for me. This is who I am. This is what I love about this stuff and make things mine, right? This is why, again, also, when D'Angelo says his influences are Sly and the Family Stone, Prince, Michael Jackson, JD, whatever, it's like, yes, I can tell because you sound like them. And then you've done something new. That's very clear. If I like Sly and the Family Stone, chances are I'm really going to like D'Angelo because there's that musical DNA. But when Kendrick Lamar tells me that he loves his influences in Nas and Tupac, and then I listen to his music and I hear Taylor Swift, clearly someone's lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this fake ass influence shit, I'm not with it. I'm not with it, man. Brown Sugar is dope. What else was on here that needed to be talked about? Obviously, like GBC said, Lady remix that Primo did. This is hard. Yeah. And a great video, too. Oh, and Primo did talk about this, too. Uh-huh. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, this is fire. And he had the different women in the video, and he was just chilling. Again, like, guys, this is not hard, okay? You can still appeal to the ladies, you can still do your thing, but, women don't want to be cussed out. Like, it's that simple, right? If you don't cuss out the women, you might end up having a pretty large female fan base, okay? Why would you throw away money? Again, not to say that it's about the money entirely. But I am just saying, like, from a common sense, morally, it makes sense to not cuss out a whole gender of people, right? Like, it's sexist. That we don't want to be sexist. We should not be sexist. But then I'm talking, like, just from a business perspective, like, why would you do that, right? So, anyway, this is Brown Sugar D'Angelo. And all this is cool, right? All this is great. We like these songs. People like these songs. Again, I heard maybe, it's hard for me to remember whether I heard VOODOO first. It's chances are I heard Devil's Pie first before some of these songs. But again, I remember hearing Brown Sugar. Not the whole album, but certainly like one of those songs like very early too. Like let's say in 99. So this guy drops this in 1995. Let's see here, right? 95. And then he basically disappears, right? Like, he's, not that he disappears, he goes and lives life. And 5 years later, which is quite a while in the music business, right? He takes a break and then drops VOODOO. Okay, now, VOODOO, to me, is superior. Because VOODOO is just, it's even more eclectic. It's even more, you know what I think is interesting about VOODOO? Is that VOODOO in a way is, how do I say this? It's more eclectic. It's more like, say, loose groove. But it's almost like a return to like that Sly shit. But like newer, like much newer, right? And this shit was fucking ill. I remember listening to this album just being like, yo, this shit is crazy. Now, VOODOO. What can I say about this that people haven't already talked about? I would say that first of all, you should listen to this in full. Like that, again, in full. This is not an album you skip. It's not like, you know, when I'd be sitting there listening to skipping shit, because this shit is lazy. I can tell right away, you didn't put much thought into it, skip. But this is like really well put together, okay? So you've got Primo, again, on the second song. You're working with the same sort of people that you were working with before, right? Kamal, Q-Tip, left and right. You've got, again, that tribe. You've got Raphael, Saadiq, right? You've got JD. These are people, or at least inspired by. These are people that you worked with before, but you're evolving their sound. Devil's Pie is phenomenal. Left and Right is dope. The line I played in earlier, I love the line. It's like, again, my 3 favorite D'Angelo songs probably ever are Devil's Pie, The Line, and One More Again. One More Gen, whatever the fuck. I never really knew how to say that. And on Brown Sugar, I'd like Cruisin' and Brown Sugar, of course. Those are like my top 5, I would say. But listen to Devil's Pie, the songs I mentioned, Untitled, How Does It Feel, for sure. Now, speaking of Untitled, this is what I was talking about when I say, like, when you have the look, you have the music. The music is powerful as fuck. And then you have the look on top of that. That shit will send people, like, to the moon, right? This video is brilliant. I think this is actually low-key one of the best music videos ever made. If you really kind of think about it. I don't think anyone had ever even done something like this. I remember when it came out. Right? And it was just kind of like, like people used to joke about this kind of shit. Like you'd hear women be like, why didn't the camera don't go lower and shit? Look at this. My man's out here singing. This is great. Yo, and this could have backfired so hard with a lot of people. If it's not the right artist, you don't have the right look, and the music itself isn't strong enough, this could have backfired. And it didn't. In fact, it made him a fucking god. Again, that's the whole thing. Like, it's that archetype godly vibe that you love when the art is powerful. It goes into a different realm. It's not just, pop consuming for right now and then we're done. But it's like, now you're almost, speaking on human existence as a whole, right? Something about this song speaks to what it's like to be the god of sex, the god of erotic love type of thing, right? So yeah, people would be like, yo, they're waiting for this. And that's what I thought was hilarious. It was almost trolling because the thing is going like this. Again, this is before social media. Imagine, you don't know shit about D'Angelo, or you do know about D'Angelo, but you don't know what this video is going to be. And you're watching the video and you're like, and women are there salivating and shit. They're like, oh my God, is the camera going to go lower? It's keep going, then it stops. But anyway, this is great. This is phenomenal. And I would argue that's where it ends with D'Angelo in terms of the music. I did not like the... now, again, I'm talking about the albums. Those two albums you absolutely have to listen to. Like, no question about it. But this Black Messiah project, did not like this at all. I did not like this. In fact... yeah, I didn't care for this. And then I haven't gone back to it. Maybe one day I will. But I remember listening to it at the time. I was so like, oh my God, D'Angelo. And then I heard it and I was like, this is not good. But when you take breaks, right? When you take breaks, like a 5-year break, that's okay. If you come back strong, like, people have to understand, it's not so much about taking breaks that's the issue. It's taking breaks and then coming with weak shit. That's really when your career is done, right? So if you're going to take a break to become better and to update your formula and come out even stronger, take that break if you need it. Didn't care for this at all, man. This was just, like I said, way too... although the tip is on this album, it was just way too loose. Not that interested. Let's see Really Love. I don't remember the song. Was this any good? This was the single on it? I don't remember the song at all, man. I'm trying to remember. I mean, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, this is nah. Anyway, so that's that. So far to go, obviously, Dilla with D'Angelo. Yeah, man, what a loss. DJ Premier had a photo. Let's see here if I can find this. Oh, I thought this was kind of corny. When Tyler the Creator is so corny, man. Jesus Christ. But anyways, let me not talk about him because I don't really have time for that. But this photo, iconic photo, man. Yeah. R.I.P. to these brothers, man. It is what it is. Life goes on. DJ Premier, Scotty, Joe Scott, and more. I don't think I saw some of this. Flavor Flav. Yeah. Jamie Foxx, of course. Well, you know, now that we're on the topic as well, because I don't know if I ever did a video for Angie Stone, right? Let's talk about Angie Stone, because RIP to Angie Stone. That was sad, too. And I actually really liked Angie Stone, too. Really and truly. I mean, these are two, it's interesting. Like, two people who were together, romantically involved, had a son, both really talented. Angie Stone, I didn't really listen to her albums. I think I heard Mahogany Soul, which is dope. I would say that this is probably her breakout album, because Brotha was on this, right? Yeah. See, and this is what, when you listen to Angie Stone and then you hear D'Angelo, it's like, that's that love for black folk. We need that shit. And again, you know, when you love black people, I think it's like you love humanity in general, because we are downtrodden, man. Blacks and the Jews, bro. And I would argue, obviously, my indigenous folk, right? But like, we've had it really hard. And not to say that oppression of Olympics, I don't get into all that, but the point is that it's a humanity thing, right? Loving humanity, loving people of all kinds, right? But this was fire. Let's go, Angie. Yeah. Very hip hop shit. Yes, he's my father. Yes, he's my son. I can talk to him, 'cause he understands everything I go through and everything I am. He's my support system. I can't live without him. Yup. The best thing since sliced bread. That Cosby image didn't age well, but it's alright. His lips, his touch, not just see, even the way she's his lip, his touch, right? It's that's what we like of black music, man. You put our foot in it, right? That funk, right? When you have that funk, it's aggressive, but it's smooth, it's chill, all at the same time. His lips, his touch, right? Anyway, Angie Stone has that song. That's by far my favorite one that she did. More Than a Woman was also an exceptional song with Calvin Richardson. This is a really good song. Also on Mahogany Soul. I'm trying to remember. Ali Shaheed was involved in that too, right? Man, Raphael, Saadiq, and Ali Shaheed. Those guys are underrated. I would say, I wouldn't say that Raphael Saadiq is neo soul, even though he flirted with it. Well, actually, I don't know. Raphael Saadiq is dope. I would say that he's kind of right there. And again, not that ranking matters, because Raphael Saadiq is phenomenal. In fact, if you haven't heard the song, this song is one of my favorite songs ever. Ever. Holy shit. This dude killed this record. Ever. Very Sam Cookish. But he just... Yeah. You need to listen to this record. This is like low-key one of the best songs that came out that decade, because this was 2007 or whatever when he dropped this album. This was one of the songs of the decade, and people just kind of slapped. It was weird. It's weird, man, just how bad stuff has become, because this song was fucking incredible. Anyway, going back to Angie, Brotha was on here. More Than a Woman I loved. Wish I Didn't Miss You was cool. Swizz did that. Niggas hating on Swizz beats, of course. But I don't think I heard the rest of these. I'm trying to remember. I didn't listen to a ton of Angie Stone. No More Rain, I heard that. I wasn't a huge fan of No More Rain. Not that I thought it was whack, but it just wasn't like my favorite thing. Obviously, you guys know Styles P, Black Magic, Angie Stone. So the two of them really, D'Angelo and Angie, really went together. And it's kind of, life is a little bit poetic like that. They kind of passed away, within months of each other. Life, man. Life. I look back on this stuff, and I remember when people were really hating on Angie, because when they found out that D'Angelo was, like, I guess with her or something like that, they were like, Angie's ugly. Like, it was weird, man. That shit was fucking weird. But clearly, like, when you have a great artist, again, they say this, but a great man a lot of times can't be great without a great woman or just a great partner. Again, it could be another man or whatever. But ideas work when more than one great person is in the picture, right? That's just the truth, right? So two heads are better than one. And clearly Angie Stone was kind of always there in the background, props, like, writing stuff, working with him. And that's probably why those albums were fucking dope when you think about it. Just why, like, when you have a artistic collaboration that yields gold, you have to protect that, man. You really do. You have to protect it with everything you have, because people will come in and try and break that shit up out of envy, profit, or whatever. But you really got to cherish it. So shout out to R.I.P. Shout out Angie Stone's son, I should say, D'Angelo. Those two together, man, really put a lot of great stuff. And people forget Angie Stone was part of the sequence, right? She was rapping a long time ago. So again, people who are artists, who are musical, and they love this hip hop shit, like, they go way back. You have to love the music. I think this is, again, a huge reason why the modern era is so bad. Like, look at Tyler, the Creator, right? Tyler, the Creator says, oh, man, I love D'Angelo. Well, you haven't made a single song that tells me that you even love D'Angelo or even know who he is. You're just, chasing clout. What about, Ass Milk, the song, is is inspired by D'Angelo? You know what I mean? Sounds like some Eminem shit. Eminem is really who you are inspired by. Please stop. Right? Doja Cat. Tyler created Doja Cat. That's what the new generation. That's what y'all are working with. No wonder y'all believe terrorists are actually the saviors of mankind. Aye. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna end it there. But as always, thanks for paying attention and watching my videos and waiting for me to really speak on it. But I just, there's not much more I can say about this. Like phenomenal artists, both really put their foot in, made us feel proud, right? There was a certain pride that we when we listened to a D'Angelo, right? It was neo soul had an undercurrent of sort of black power, but not in a like, look at me, I'm so black, not like that, but just like, yo, pride in self, because it's tough being a black person out here, man. The society really does hate on you in overt ways, in slick ways, right? So when we have our artists that try to lift us up and try to make us feel better about things or make us feel sexy and intelligent, I mean, those are the artists that we're obviously always going to remember. Now we have Tyler the Creator and others who just basically put us down and troll on us, right? Which is really fucking sad, all things considered. Anyway, love y'all. Peace.